saying you've been crazy busy, or what did you say? You were, this crazy shit's been going on?
Yo, life is real, yo. It is. Yeah, actually, I've been trying to balance everything out, because there's just, we have, well, I do at least, like I have a regular 9 to 5. I have a 17-and-a-half-year-old that just graduated high school.
17 and a half.
Yes.
I didn't know that he was that age.
Yeah.
Wow,
a lot of
that's
people
incredible.
don't. Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you have a kid? I'm like, yeah, I have a son that's 17-and-a-half.
Does he DJ too?
He does little things on like a program on his phone.
Sick.
And he'll send me mixes and stuff, and he wants to learn, and I'm like, I'm all about it,
Yeah.
you know? Yeah, he's something else. And then I have, so I have my job, I have my son, then I have like family, and then there's like the dance community, and then
Open
there's,
house.
yeah, so that, and then there's like my close friends that I hang out with, and then there's like all the nightlife stuff.
That's a lot.
So that's a lot to
Yeah,
work
sure.
with, and besides having a boyfriend also. So
Okay.
it's like,
Well, now you just-
that's, you know, it's like, yo, what
Any
is going
pets?
on? Right now, actually, I don't have any pets,
No pets,
which
okay.
kind of bums me out, because I love animals, and I have always had an animal around me, but I just not right now.
You got a lot going on. I mean, that's
Yeah.
adding another child.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
it is.
So I've
yeah.
heard.
Yeah, no, it is. Like, I have a
pet before.
fish. I
You had a
do.
pet fish.
I
I feel like
have a
that's
fish.
easier to maintain.
Yeah,
You just
his
go
name
ahead.
is Shark. He's a sucker fish.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey, Shark.
he's super. Yeah, he's super chill. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's really I think for like, I want to say for like the last year, it's been about like trying to find balance, and recently like my grandma passed away, and then my like spiritual godmother passed away like within the matter of like 2 weeks, and that was also like really like eye-opening for me, because it really devastated my mom.
Right.
So it's just kind of finding that balance. Like, I don't get to really hang out with my mom, and my mom will come out to shows sometimes. Like, it's really cool. Like, she likes to party. She loves to dance. She's a dancer.
Yeah, so does my mom.
Right?
Yeah.
So they're like, yeah, let's go, but as of lately, it's just been, there's been a lot of stuff, like just happening. So she hasn't really been around, and like me trying to find that balance of spending time with my mom too has been hard. And then also the, like, you don't want to miss your friends' parties, because you want to support everybody.
Totally.
So that's been a whole thing too,
Yeah.
because I want to go here and I want to see everyone, but then something will happen, and then also like my health is another issue too. Like, not everybody knows, but like I have like fatty liver, so I have to be like super careful with like just everything and being around
Whatever
like,
you put in as far as like getting
everything
filtered.
like, and I mean like to the point where it's like I can't have a really dense piece of cake.
Sure.
Because then it feels like I got ran over by a train. Like, it's really like, it's really like wow. I've always been so active, so it's kind of like really weird for me that I have like this thing that's like putting me down in a sense, and I'm just like, whoa, what is this? I don't want to do this anymore.
Is it something that just kind of came up, or had that been there?
Yeah, it kind of came up out of nowhere, and and it's really funny because I work in recovery. That's another thing too that people don't know.
That's your 9 to 5.
Yeah, I work at a sober living, and I'm a chef and nutritional therapist there.
You got a lot going on, dude. I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, that's just the biggest testament to like, I think it's just about like prioritizing certain things, and everyone I think is always going to be in the search of balance, but it's where I think you kind of put your focus kind of thing, and if you can just, I feel like people don't think they have enough time in the day to do, but everything
That's
you
what
just
it feels
said,
like.
yeah, I can imagine.
I'm like, okay, if I wake up at 5 a.m., what can I get done at 5?
Yeah.
Like,
Is that the time you wake up?
That's what I aim for.
Yeah.
I try to aim for 5 o'clock, so then that way I can like, really like try to adjust my day. Because like my whole thing is like, if I'm not in a same place, like how is my day gonna be good? So I'm really big on like having like my meditation when I wake up in the morning. First thing that I do is like drink water that I have right next to my bed, and then sit there and stretch and meditate at the same time.
How long do you meditate for?
For 10 minutes in the morning. Yeah.
Silence, quiet.
Yeah.
Do you think
just
about
like,
anything specific, or you just?
Yeah, just kind of like, I think it's more about gratitude, like what you're grateful for, and it really makes a difference. Like even if you like have like a journal, like some people have a journal and they're like write, like Yeah, right. And I feel like it really does make a big difference.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's prayer. Sometimes it's you know, like if someone's really going through something, like I'll just like really think about that person and kind of give them like send them like good vibes and like good energy and stuff. And it's just I feel like a lot of us, you know, like we don't necessarily like have the time to like really like chill and get to know everybody in the scene, but like this is awesome what you're doing because I get to hear these podcasts and like really get to know these people now like on a different level. And then like I think that it's important that we know like where we come from and like what's your like grounding point, you know, because
there's more to us as far as like people that are in the industry than what we see. Like you're saying, you want to go and support friends events and stuff like that, but it's them that you're wanting to support, not so much like
or even their events, like, you know what I mean? Like, so for example, like there's been a lot of talk of like, which I totally love, like there's been a lot of talk of like in the nightlife, like what do we do in the nightlife, like what does it, you know, consist of? And it's like drugs and alcohol and music and like staying out late and like not sleeping much, and you know there's like all these different things that we've probably been doing for years. And then when you think about it and you're getting to this, you know, some of us get there sooner than others, where we get like sick or something happens and you're like, whoa, I gotta take a pause, you know. And that has been like my biggest thing is like, what is everyone's grounding place or thing, or like what helps you ground yourself? Because I think that a lot of people need to hear that. There's so many of us that really do have like a lot of like how do you say, like just different mentalities of us thinking of like, oh, like am I good enough, or what is this, or like the whole thing with like mental illness. Like there's a lot of us that suffer from a lot of different things, and I don't think that we really sit there and like really think about that.
It's hard to talk about. It's not a subject that everybody likes to obviously get into too much, because then it admits that you've got something that's going on. You know what I mean?
I mean, I've been shunned in social media, like on like private messages where people will be like, don't write that, you shouldn't write things like that, and you shouldn't like talk about negative things, you know, it makes you look really bad. And I'm just like, I think it makes me look human. So they were kind of offended at the fact that you were kind of bringing it to light. I mean, just like you were saying, people kind of get to a certain point faster than others. I think it's the level of involvement that people have in the scene. The fact that you have all this going on with your kid, your 9 to 5, the dancing, which I want to touch base on for sure, and still the energy to DJ, and then go out and attend other people's events. Like that's a dedication to the lifestyle, to the nightlife, to the community that kind of matures you faster than other people who are just like, I go to big shows, or I pay this amount of money to go see somebody that I want. They can kind of do that for longer than us that's consistently like at stuff. I got burnt out like very recently, where I didn't go out for like a month and a half. I couldn't. I was just over it. I was like, I need to take some time to myself, like, and not be completely surrounded. For sure. Well, thanks for tuning into the Block Is Out podcast. I couldn't stop that. It was too smooth. I've got Juliet Mendoza. There's just so much to talk about. So thank you for taking your time to come chill and hang out. It's nice having you. With the open house, because we're talking about dance, how long you've been? I'm assuming you would be dancing before you got into playing music. My parents put me into dance when I was like 5 years old. I've always been like really like all over the place and like you know, and they put me into like hip hop, ballet, a lot of like Latin like culture, traditional dance. And I remember being a kid and being like going to ballet, and the lady being all strict, they're like, do this, and I'm like, no. Like that was not my thing. I'm not a big like rule, like this is the rules, and I was like not doing. You found your kind of direction in dance kind of early, which is good that you got it early on and not trying to pick it up too late. You're like, I don't know where to go. If I try ballet at your age, or am I missing on time to do that? So you got into hip hop. Like hip hop, street stuff, and then it was, you know, like the whole like getting dressed up and having like the folklorico like Mexican dance, and like all these like it was a lot of fun, you know, like you're a kid and you're running around with like a bunch of colorful things, and like so I loved it. I enjoyed it a lot, and then it just kept going and going and going. And I remember being it was high school. My first year of high school, I had an opportunity to audition for the Los Angeles Performing Arts School.
Cool. Tight.
And that I think was where like it was like that make and break point for me with dance, because my mother felt very different about my passion of dance, and she just didn't want me to dance because it didn't make money.
Okay.
So she was just kind of like, I don't want you to do this. Yeah, like you need to be a doctor or a lawyer or something. And then I had my father that was like a complete like hardcore creative and musician, and he was like, I won't pay the rent this month if you need to do headshots for blah 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 blah. Like
so you had both ends of the spectrum as far as sport, which is good. I mean, I think it's like a devil's advocate where you have in the home where I think most people can attest to the fact that they have parents that kind of want them to be doing certain things, or they expected certain.
Yeah.
You know.
They want them. Yeah.
To come in a certain direction, but again, that's for some people. That's not. I feel like it maybe has helped you kind of know what you can you want to say yes to, and know to where you want to dedicate your time. So it could be hidden blessing in disguise.
Yeah, I think it was like, I mean, it really broke my heart because I tried every year that year, and I made it every year that year, and my parents like, because my mom said no, it was like a no.
Yeah.
And so I tried every year to convince my mom every year, and that just kind of put a damp on my like plans, because I was like, I'm gonna go to New York and be in like
it's in New York
Broadway. Like no, I was planning from there. I wanted to go to NYU and like, you know, get into like Broadway and like do this whole like dance thing, and that's
a Broadway show.
They're really cool. Yeah,
like they're like really dramatic and a little over the top to the point. For me, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
depending on the show, I'll check it out.
Yeah,
I'm willing to check it out.
Yeah. I think we got to do it at least once. It's kind of like the opera. If you've never been to the opera, you should definitely go to the opera like at least once, right? Because then you can be like,
do everything
experience
once.
Something, yeah. And but yeah, it's just I feel like like that portion of my life kind of pushed me in like different directions. Totally. And during high school, in that time, like I started going out with my high school friends. When I was 13, they took me to my first like 18 and over club with
13.
A fake ID. Sick. My cousin took me, and I was like,
cousin.
What is this? Like, this is amazing.
Was it like an underground type of thing or an above ground?
No, it was above ground like club, like that they got me into, and I didn't look my age. Right. I looked older just because, you know, girls in their bodies development. But so we got into this club, and it was all hip hop and house. And I was like, this is what's up. Right. Like, I want to be that girl in the go-go box. And I want to, like, it was just, like, this whole thing with, like, dancing and having fun. And from there, like, I started, you know, I went back to school and told my friends, like, oh, my cousin took me to this thing. And then this one kid was like, have you been to Arena? And I was like, what's that?
So it started to, one thing exposed you to another.
Yeah, it was like, what? And I was like, what's that? And they're like, it's an all-ages club in
all
Hollywood.
Ages?
It was
in Hollywood? Oh,
ages.
Does not sound fun. That does not sound fun. Excuse me.
It was.
Well, for me now, at my age,
like, what? Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
9-year-olds just headbanging.
Yo, it was insane. It was so crazy, like, and it was a mixture of people. Like, it was like teenagers, college kids, and then older folks, and then you would have like your pervs, you know, that are in there, like, oh my god,
well, there's
a lot of like
a weird spot.
Yeah, it was really crazy. And then, but it was what brought me out into like the house scene, and it really helped me like see a lot of things. And I would go out with my cousin, and he would take me out with this fake ID, and we would go out to all these other spots like Florentine Gardens, like the Dome, and like all these different like it was, they had like all the cracking spots. So we would go to those, and then I started go-go dancing for Arena when I was young, and then from that I went to Carnival at the Alexandria Hotel in downtown LA. So they had that. Yeah, like it's just like crazy. Like I can't, like I think about it now, and I'm like, I can't believe I wore that. I did that. I could have died. They used to flip me in the air and like on a box. Like who would even, you know what I mean? Like what? Yeah.
At the club.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. It was crazy.
And so how did you like, was open house something that like you found in the underground and you got incorporated with them, or was it friend of a friend? You went to pretty much the same thing where you went to Florentine Gardens or Arena and you show up and it's like all that going on, and that kind of suck you in even more to, this is what I'm supposed to be kind of dancing to.
Right. So the way that it happened is that I was doing all these different things, and then the older I was getting, we found out about like the raves, right? So then
your tastes mature.
Yeah, so then I was like, oh hell yeah! So we go like Monster Massive, we go to EDC, like we go to all these different places, and that's how I met like the dancers that were part of the underground dance scene. I was in my 20s.
And not in your 20s?
No.
Like, I thought you were in your 20s. Well, I guess you had a 17-year-old, so I couldn't.
Yeah.
My math isn't all there.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
No, you're good. And so I would go to all these different places, and then I ended up actually like working for the promo team for Reza for Go Ventures.
Okay.
So we would do all this stuff, and then I ended up meeting like all these amazing dancers that would go to these raves, like poppers, breakers, like house dancers. I was like, yo, this is amazing. So through that, I started going to this place called Homeland on Monday nights, and it was like a pop dancer practice, like for poppers. Yeah. And there was breakers there and poppers and like people that did like locking and like just different varieties of dance, but mostly poppers. And I met this guy there. His name is Brandon Bell, and he is known as Popcorn Chicken.
Popcorn Chicken. He's a pop locker.
Yes, he's a popper, and and he would lock too. And he was the person that took me to my first deep.
Deep, like.
So Marcus Wyatt, deep.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember from going from all this like hard house.
Right, totally.
And then I had stopped and I got into like hip hop stuff and like breaking and popping and all that. And then this man introduced me to like this other world of house music.
Yeah, totally.
It changed my life. Yeah. It was at Schrader, and it was like this really dark. You would walk into this building and it was dark and it was blue lights and there was like just people vibing. Like
this was the deep event.
Yeah.
Got it.
It was just so like wow. Like no one was like, you know, like underdressed.
Yeah, you saw the
there was
different,
like, I was like,
totally.
What is this? So everybody was just like in their space, in their head, like just losing it and like having a really good time. And the music, I remember the music being like, it felt like it not even that, like it was just like it touched me in such a different way, like. And then when I started to listen to the lyrics, then that's when it spoke to me. Totally. And I was like, wow, this is the most amazing thing ever. I need to come like every Sunday. So then that became like my ritual.
Yeah, totally.
And I met the open house people at Deep and at Homeland.
So open house is that it's a studio. It's like it's a location that has dancers that are like specific dancers that come every time. Is it kind of like, you know how not like it's like its own collective, I guess you would say. Is that what it is? Or is it the space is open house and everybody comes and just dances there?
So what we did was we came together as a core group. So Emiko is like the mother of open house. And she was missing all the East Coast family and fun that she had in the East Coast. She learned from a lot of people on the East Coast, and she does breaking and house. And so when she moved out here to LA, like there was that component missing. And so my friend Vanessa had hit me up and was like, yo, Emiko is looking to do something. I know you want to do something. Like, I know there's people like you guys could get together and do stuff. And so she kind of called a meeting, and we all just gathered and like put all these ideas together with her. And that's what created Open House. And it's like Open House is a space for people to come and be safe and not feel criticized or like, you know, feel shy or any of that. Like you can go there and you can do whatever you want. Like you can roll around the floor if that's what you feel like. You know what I'm saying? And so what we did was, it was like, okay, well, we know we want to practice. So how are we going to turn this into like a practice space, right? Yeah. If we're going to pay for the studio space, it's going to cost us this much money, and we want it for 4 hours. Like we did the whole thing. So it was like, okay, you invite 3 friends, you invite 3 friends, we'll bring each 3 friends and we'll make it work. Right. So it just happened that way. Yeah. And it was really cool because we had heads from the Bay Area come, from San Diego come, like people were coming from
different places. It became its own scene, and its own community within it.
Wow, like I mean, even till this day now, we just celebrated the 10-year anniversary in March. Yeah. And it really opens your eyes to like, we did something that like has made a big influence for a lot of people. Like we've influenced a lot of people, and not only that, but like I feel like it's also like a home. Like, so people, when they come from around the world, like these dancers from around the world, like they know, like there's open
space.
house in LA. And just even having that, you know, because you can go anywhere around the world, and now we have like this, there's like this hub, a connection. And it's super cool to just be a part of that and just meet all these different people from around the world, and know that we all speak the same language through music and dance. And we don't even have to like open our mouth.
Yeah, I mean you're right. That's a completely. It's kind of nice to see that parallel with what I'm familiar with the DJ and the music scene and the hosting events and having the network from different cities and states, and to see that in just a different art, but still relatively the same, because there's the music, the people that are putting on the music, and then there's people that are enjoying the music and dancing to the music, and they have their own network of other dancers and other collectives and other spaces. It's wild. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's again, I don't think there's too many places outside of LA that things like that can thrive.
Yeah.
Because everybody here is trying to like make it flourish more than putting each other down or calling on each other's, I guess, events to get shut down so that they can be the only one that's
like having their thing. Yeah. It's I mean, I think we've seen, well, at least I feel like I've seen a lot, like from being 13 and then till like what it is right now, and just having that like just being able to be at a lot of the parties that were in the past, and then like just seeing these people grow, and like the people that I've looked up to, and like my mentors and things like that. Like, it's just amazing to see everybody grow, and to know that like we're human. Like, nobody is better than anybody else, and everybody has like something, you know, like we all get sick, we all have problems, we all, like, you know, and it's just to see that, and just to see how the community reacts sometimes. Like, it could be good and it could be bad. Like, there's always like a good and a bad, right? So and then that's the thing, like, I feel like people come to LA, and like if they're not from here, one thing that I've heard is like, like everybody in LA is like so fake, and they're this and they're that, and I'm like, I don't think you've met the right people. Like, you know. That's and true. I'm just like, I think you need to meet like real Angelinos, or people that have those connections with real Angelinos that know, like, you'll put them out, dude. Like,
totally. I mean, the people, the culture in LA, I think, is very strong. That's why we are Los Angeles. That's why people love it here. Everything from our sports, our sports fans, our music. Granted, I guess we have people who think that there are like a lot of snobby people in the music industry out here, but I think it's because we have everything. We have the worst and we have the best. So it's kind of, it's in us to kind of know what we like, and I guess technically what we consider to be good and not good.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you with the music, the level of different music you've seen over the last, say, more than a decade. Did that kind of like help brand your own sound as a DJ? Like, did music, just DJing, kind of come with the fact that you were starting to go to all this and you became more integrated, and then you were like, yeah, this DJing works for me?
I think it has a lot to do with what I've experienced, and I feel also like music's always been like a very healing thing for me. Totally. So I started DJing when I was 13. So,
so right when you got integrated into the scene.
Because it was like back in the party crew time, like days. So we had our party crew, and the boys, like, I would go, like, we would like literally like walk all the way to Melrose from like Hollywood, and go to all the stores and like dig the records, and then take them back and play them, and the boys would teach me. Nice. But I went more towards the dance, so I really didn't DJ. And then that was more like a boy thing, like, for me, like back then and that time.
Because you had the dancing. And
and it was all the girls, and you know, just running around and wearing like cute little outfits, and like you know. So then when my son was 6 years old, there was a period of time where I was having trouble with his dad, and he took me to court and pretty much took my son from me. So that was a really hard time in my life, and I was like, okay, what do I do? Like, I felt really trapped. So what I did was, my dad pretty much was like, hey, well, you know, you have all the records, you know, you have all of our records in the storage, like, you can take them if you need, and like, you should just like turn to music, you know. And so I did. I took my parents' vinyl, and then I posted on Facebook one day, like, hey, does anybody want to sell their turntables? And my friend was like, yo, I'll sell you my turntables and a mixer for $50. And I was like,
Damn.
what? All right, cool.
Take it.
Right? I was like, I'm doing that. So I took them home, and then my friend David Montoya, he's actually a DJ out here in LA also. He helped me like put everything together on my living room floor, and he was like, all right.
On the living room floor.
Yeah,
sick.
he's like, this is it.
Yeah.
Do your thing,
That's
you know?
tough.
And so he did that, and then he was like, okay, so like next week we'll go like digging. I'll show you like we'll go to the record
Show
store.
you the ropes kind of thing. Yeah,
And
cool.
so like he's definitely a big like I'm super grateful for him because, and I tell him every single time I see him, I'm like, you know, this is you, right? Like you
That's
did
sweet.
this, you
That's
know?
sweet,
And it was a really cool experience to have somebody that's, you know, just been in this game for so long.
Totally.
Like, and he's super sweet, man. He's a really cool guy, and he taught me what he could, and he was like, and now it's your turn to just like get used to
lead
it,
the
like
way, right?
do your thing.
Totally.
And
And you did it. You've been doing it.
yeah, it's been yeah, it's definitely, it was therapeutic. I didn't want to DJ, like that wasn't my thing.
Sure.
Like,
You just wanted to
just
do
do
it.
that
Right,
at
yeah,
home
totally.
for myself, and then that just kind of like snowballed into playing out, like playing
everything
for
just happened
friends, and
organically.
yeah.
Well, that's good.
So-
At least it's not something that you were like, hey, I came in here, I want to be a DJ, put shit together, made a set to kind of just to do it and then go up and just kind of be a whatever artist. It's, again, in music, it sounded like that trajectory to you DJing and you being in music. It was like integrated, the first one? Integrated, integrated in your system. Jesus Christ. Oh, that one almost hurt me a little bit. Okay,
That was a great
integrated. That's been in you as part as like your characteristics and your personality since you were a kid. So that was, it seemed like, especially getting into like the hip hop and the house music form of hip hop in dance was like getting there. So you curate Jill's house. Is Jill's house also a space, or is that just the name of the party?
So Jill's house is our event I do with Megan, my partner, and she goes by DJ Sassacrats.
Sick.
Right? Yeah, I was like, go get it, girl. Yeah. And we actually did that because of different things that had happened. So I just kind of shared with her and some of my girlfriends like some of the experiences that I've had so far, which have been like some like really like
In
like,
what? In,
wow.
in like the industry?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
whatever.
yo,
Yeah.
I was like, should I even talk about this? But yeah.
Whatever
I
you're
mean,
comfortable with.
yeah, no, I mean, I'm not putting no names out there.
Yeah,
but,
no.
So like, just a lot. Like, there's. I feel like when it comes to the female DJs in this industry, there is a lot of. I don't want to say this wrong, so I just want to make sure I say it right.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of like things that we have to look out for, and so
As the artist.
as
Okay, as a
being
female
that artist,
artist, okay.
yeah. And so the thing is, like, I tell my girlfriends, you know, any artist, you know, you need to have your ducks in a row. So if you want to be good at something, what do? You practice. It doesn't matter what it is. You have to practice, right? And so that's been like my thing. I don't call myself the best DJ. I don't say I'm like the shit or any of that. Like that's not my point. Like this whole thing that happened to me, I feel like it chose me from just wanting to express what I feel. And all of these expressions that I'm sharing with everyone are things that I've been shown throughout all these years of me just being there and seeing these things and hearing these things and watching people. And so when I've hit walls in the middle of all of this, it really makes you think like, okay, what do I need to do next? Because it's either you're gonna open or close, or you don't get paid, or you know, like
how does that happen as far as like, because is it something that's because you're a female that you don't get paid on certain gigs, or is it just maybe like the collective you work with, even if it was a guy, they wouldn't pay them either, or is it because
it's
the
kind of
female?
weird. I don't know. Like, and then that's the thing, right? Because we don't know if everybody else, and you're not gonna go over there and be like, hey, did you get paid?
Yeah, for
like,
sure. Yeah, I get it.
So there's just been like instances where like you know, it kind of just makes you think. Yeah, and you're just kind of like, whoa, like, okay, well, what am I here for? You know, like I had one instance where it's like, you know, I want you to DJ my party, you know, but, you know, I also think you're cute. So it's kind of like, what? You know, so like, what do you want me for? So, you know, things like that. There's a lot of these little...
How does that work?
Yeah,
what's the mentality behind that? That's the wrong way to get someone to want to do something for you.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I feel it just seems like...
Because you're kind of like, what? Like, that's already like a flag. Like, no.
I mean, because you take it seriously. It's what you're an artist, and that kind of just takes away. So I can kind of see why that would be kind of like I mean, obviously it's a red flag, but the difference that the female DJ kind of goes through is, again, maybe one of those things that's not spoken on enough. Yeah. And again, I can't really attest to it because I can't relate, but from what I've seen, again, talking about how like the LA community is kind of doing well for itself, is I've never seen a like male female DJ. It's just like a person whose music is to our taste and is good and we like and it works.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, it's never been like, oh, well, that's a girl, we don't want to book it.
Yeah, exactly.
That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't, right?
Nowadays, like at all.
It doesn't, and that's kind of like why I did the whole thing with Jill's house, because I was like, all right, what can we do to make a difference, you know? And it's like, even like my partner, Sassacrat, like she's new to the game, like she's not, you don't see her out there like claiming anything or nothing. Totally. Like she does it for the love of the music, and it's like her thing, like it's a passionate thing that she has. Yeah. So it's like, okay, what can we put together? What can we do to make a creative space for a bunch of females that just want to show their skill or give back? So that's why we created Jill's House. So it's a platform for women identified artists. Sure. But we're not. I like that. Not. Yeah, like we're not like, you know, not including our male friends or any of that. Like we're not. It's just that's the ethos behind what you guys are doing. Yes, exactly.
That's the same kind of thing that you guys have going on with Xenophile.
Yeah.
As well. Correct.
Yeah, and that's also been like, that's amazing. Like even for me, like I'm just like, wow, I'm so mind blown. Like I was so honored for them to have like, you know, put me on, and like getting to know them each, you know, like it's like, wow, like this is a whole different sisterhood, you know.
Were you guys not familiar with each other prior to like them reaching
not
out?
everyone.
You kind of know each other in the scene.
Yeah, just kind of. I had met like maybe like Chanel. I had met a couple times like at like different like DJ things, and I think I had met Jesse once. Sure. Too.
So it's good. I mean, you generally know who's in the scene, and who is it that reached out to you?
Yeah, and it was Kelly and Jesse. They had reached out, and also Alyssa, because so Alyssa's on there as well, and so like she's like my little sister. I love her to death, and that was just like something cool. Like she was the one that was like, "Yo, we're kind of talking about you," and like, you know, and I was like, "Dude, that's super dope. Like I'm super down," you know, and but yeah, it's definitely, I feel like we do have to like push a little harder, just to kind of be like, yo, like I know that I'm a chick, but like, yo, I could rock, like I could rock a party, I could rock a floor. Like it's not that I'm being better than you. It's like, just do you, like do what you want to do with whatever it is that you feel, you know. And for me, it's always like, I want to be able to leave a party and see at least one person close their eyes and be like, they're in it, like they were in it for real.
You do see that in the underground a lot for many other reasons, but yeah, I mean, again, that's sisterhood. Is everybody in there like a DJ, or is it just empowering like industry?
I think it's more of like a support, because like for example, Kelly's not a DJ, and she's like really into music. Like she's got a massive, she's like an encyclopedia. I feel like I'm like, what girl, you're gonna do what? Like,
but she's integrated with like the Mix Mag people in some way or another. I know, I mean, everyone in the Xenophile Collective is great. It's people that we know in the scene, and I love seeing you guys create something. Like, it's nice to see different things that were never being talked about before, like, you know, the female place in the music and mental health and the state of community in music is... It's like, it's good to see that, again, here in LA, it's starting to kind of, there are bubbles and pockets of it and people talking about it.
Yeah. No, I'm like super grateful. Like, I don't even, like, a lot of it, I feel like if I didn't have like the certain females around me, I don't think that I would have still stayed. Yeah. To be honest, you know, like, because it does get difficult. And then one thing that I didn't understand when I first started getting into this was like the mentality that you have to keep in order to keep going. So you have to be very strong-minded.
Right.
And you can't let things get to you. You have to brush them off, and you just have to keep walking and going forward. And I've learned a lot of things the hard way.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I'm lucky for my mentors. Like, I've had my mentors tell me, like, don't pay attention to that. You gotta, like, look at the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, you gotta put your blinders up and just keep going, you know. And that, or even just like hearing their stories of what they've gone through and being like, what? But you're so and so. Like, what do you mean you went through that? Like, what? You know, and it just reminds you, like, we're all human, and there are things out there like jealousy and envy, and, like, you know, just people don't want to see you win. And
for sure.
That's just the thing. Like, you know, we always say, like, no one's stopping anyone from doing what they need to do for themselves.
Correct.
You need to just pick it up and do it.
That plays, I believe that very, very strongly, that everyone has the ability to do whatever it is they want for themselves. They just have to do it. I think nobody's stopping anybody from doing anything necessarily, and I think that if you have good intentions, and if you obviously work and deal with and try to be a part of people that are like you, then everybody wins. Everybody grows. Yeah. You know? So I strongly believe, for sure.
I feel you. Like, that's the thing with Jill's house. Like, I think that's another aspect that people don't understand. Like, I play once in a while. I don't play it all the time.
Right.
And the reason why that is because I'm more like, I'm really trying to focus on, like, what can we do with this?
Yeah,
like,
you're curious.
It's a very special thing for me. And just, like, even down to, like, it's the way that we're strategizing it, I guess you can say. It's like, we don't want people to just come in and play and then that's it. You know what I mean? Like, we want them to come and play and feel like they're a part of a family that supports them.
Yeah.
So our thing is, like, at the end of the night, we present shirts to all the members. So they're now a member of Jill's house.
Got it.
Like, for another example, like, I had someone question me about why is it that you guys don't follow people back on Instagram?
Okay.
And the reason why I do that is because I'm trying to create a base for these females or these people that are playing Jill's house to have an easy way to get access to.
Right.
So we only follow back the people that play.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we do with 900 Block for the most part. I mean, granted, there are other people in the music industry that, like, friends, like really close friends, and people that obviously have been supporting us for years, but we try to build a community as far as, like, who we are behind is the people who have played for us, have been a part of our scene or what we've been trying to do. So I feel entirely.
And it's kind of like, well, if they're looking, you know, the other day on Facebook I saw a post Mr. B had actually put up, and he was like, we need more female DJs. And I was just like, wow. And then the commentary on there was, like, amazing, because there's a lot of people that do support the females in this industry, and they feel like, yo, like, there's some amazing girls out there, you know, but people just don't pay attention. And that's kind of like my thing, like, where are these girls at? Like, come out of the woodwork, like, let's see what we can do, and, like, let's see what we can work out for you. And like, some of them are not from here, you know what I mean? And it's like, dude, if you ever come to LA, like, let me know.
Yeah,
of course. And then we can work something out. And but like, I just feel like it's opened a huge door for a lot of different things. I've been able to meet a lot of really cool females.
Yeah, that's great.
And, like, people, you know, like, their friends, and, like, the people that make their flyers, and the people that do this, and the people, like, you're just like, whoa, like, if you open yourself,
for sure.
Just be open. Like, I'm literally always running around. Like, I don't even, like, I try to enjoy myself.
Yeah. I was going to say, do you give yourself?
Like, I'm like, as of lately, I have been dancing more because I did stop dancing for a good while.
Sure.
So I'm getting my energy back that I didn't have before. So I've been, like, dancing more. But yeah, it's like, you know, we all have to put in work. So there's a lot into everything that we do.
Well, like I'm telling you, you do not need to come up with a whole new basket of energy for getting into it. It's just, you're never going to feel fully rested as long as we're really trying to push what we're pushing, you know, with the dancing, with the DJing, and then now you're curating your own events, and you have the work, and you have the kid, and you have, you know, I mean, there's only, again, don't kill yourself on the fact that you're not getting rest. You just have to, I think, just be smart with where you put your energy. Like, a lot of people aren't really good at that, and they're kind of just in the scene and they're doing a million different things Monday through Sunday just to kind of be in it, and they don't know how to take care of themselves and kind of take a step back, like, hey, okay, I don't have to, let's say, I don't have to be at the next week's worth of shows because there's nothing really I'm gonna do different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So
it's huge. But then at the same time, there's people that feel some kind of way if you don't show up. So I'm not saying like all the time.
There's
like,
always gonna be those.
There's
people.
always and
you
so
can't please everybody.
You can't, and so I think like.
You hear that, all of you? Sorry if I can't come all the time. I'm sleeping.
You know, and that, I mean, that's kind of like the thing. I feel like, you know, I think one of the reasons why I post about my health on Facebook and things like that is because I want people to understand, like, it's not that I don't want to come to your party or any of that. It's like, right now, like, my health isn't at its best.
Yeah.
And I know that there's people, they're like, well, you go and play at events, and I'm like, yeah, but y'all don't even know what the preparation for that is like for me. Like, I need to make sure that I sleep before the event, and that I eat right, and that I drink a ton of water so that I'm not dehydrated when I go. And like, even like some places I'll go and I'll play and then I leave. It's not that I'm not wanting to support you or not wanting to be there. It's just that literally my body right now is being like, you need to go to bed.
Chill, then do it. I think you always listen to your body, always listen. I mean, your health is your number one priority. We've seen people that are in the scene that, you know, that struggled a lot with that and they weren't able to take care of themselves accordingly. Yeah. You know, like with Yareen. Yeah. That's the biggest one.
That was,
I know you guys were really close.
Yeah. That one was like, wow. Like, I struggled a lot after that. I didn't even want to play. And then when I played, I couldn't really play. Like, it was just really, it was really hard because, it was hard because, like, I guess we always have like a rock, right? You know, and, she was like that. Like, for me, like, she was a huge rock for me, and she helped me like get through so many humps. Like, it was just incredible to have this woman that was so driven, and she like the way that she just put everybody together. Like, she had like all the pieces of the puzzle that we didn't even know that she had, and she was just like, you need to meet so and so and so and so, and like, you know, it was like a.
Sounds like she was the one that kind of started everything before it kind of is what it is.
It is right now,
you know?
yeah. And I always think about her, like, every single time there's Jill's house. Like, this last Jill's house, it was her birthday.
Yeah, I saw you.
And like, it just, like, I woke up that morning and I talked to her. Like, I talk to her all the time. Like, I feel like I feel her, you know. And I was just like, dude, like, thank you, you know. And but yeah, it's a lot, like, and she brought a lot of us together too, and you know,
for sure.
Even like some of us too, like, we struggle with a lot of stuff, and we struggle with mental health, and she was one of those people that would pull us out of our hole, and we didn't even think that she was like,
it's
in that place, like, it was just so weird. We saw her 2 days prior, you know, like, we were with her all weekend, and then it just happened, and it was like the weirdest thing, because I remember she was super stoked about playing the party for MDA, I believe it was, that Wednesday, and I remember Mojave being like, dude, have you talked to her? Like, she was texting, and like,
I remember that you guys having that.
What happened? Like, we couldn't find her, and she didn't show up to the show. And so, like, that's how everybody was kind of like, what's going on? And but yeah, like, that's huge, and I mean, it still is. Like, I think about her all the time, and I'm grateful that, you know, people have spoken up for themselves, that they have like certain things going on mentally, and, you know, like, don't feel alone, and don't feel like you can't speak up, or that you don't have people that are not going to understand you, because we're here, and
of course,
we're actually doing something on this Saturday. I agreed to, I'll be playing with Jolie and Mojave. Okay. And yeah, the flyer will be up this week so people can see, but it has a lot to do with Jaren, and
Yeah, I remember that sent shockwave through the community, and I think I really, from what I remember, it's the beginning of what I know as people start really bringing that up. It was my first kind of real introduction to, like, you obviously kind of know, being in the scene for so long, what is there, what's hidden, what's taboo, what's not talked about, what people were having issues with, but it's not until someone that is close to you, someone that you I mean, I never had the pleasure of meeting her in person. I was actually, we had booked her for an upcoming pattern bar. That was the night that I had met her. And it's just that was the first thing for me that was like, whoa, like the music industry as I know it and what I've seen and what I've kind of heard happen around, you know, is real, and it's important for people, you know, that are in any sort of like state like that to know that it's okay to reach out to people, because I feel like the music community that we're in, everybody's really caring for each other because they all get it. Like they know it's not an easy place to be in. It's not an easy industry or community to really put your time in, because it takes a lot of your mental, your physical, your lifestyle. You dedicate pretty much like how you live your life to that, and it's just it's there. You know?
And it's crazy because if you don't remember that, you're like just on this automatic pilot, and it's like you're just going and going and going, and people, you just like lose it. You're just like, what am I doing? You know, like there's been many a times where I'm like, I'm just not gonna DJ no more. I'm not gonna do it anymore. And that was actually like that was, and something like that actually happened recently, where I was kind of like just thinking about everything and like looking at everything in the bigger picture of what it is here, like just seeing like this thing that's like a rat race. Everybody's like just pulling on one another, and it's like this whole thing of like, well, what do you guys want? You know, like,
you mean as far as like the emergence of the dance music scene and how it's more like popular now and everyone's trying to be a part of it? Or,
there's just so much like, you know, like everybody, like that whole thing, like there's this joke when you go to LA, everybody's a DJ, and it's I'm like,
they kind of are though. They kind of are. Like, we know so many people that are DJs, and it's just, again, because the electronic dance music, house music, disco, tech house, techno, every drum and bass, every genre of dance music is like thriving now in LA because everyone's free to do whatever they want. Everyone has unlimited fucking venues around here that something's going on Monday through Sunday in the creases, in alleys, in big clubs and rooftops and lofts, and it's wild. So I mean, everybody's a DJ, like kinda, in one way or another. The people that are like actually that know what's going on have that somewhere tied into them.
I know for me, like back in the day, we would party like, I think it was like 5 to 6 days out of the week. This was like when I was in my early 20s, and I remember it would be like Monday night was the Room in Hollywood, and then Tuesday night was like this reggae night, and then Wednesday night was like,
it was just a
you know, the Dub Club, and then Thursday night was the Root Down, and then on Friday nights we would go to this other club, and Saturday nights was like Chocolate City, and then you go to a house thing, and then like,
where's Chocolate City?
We don't have that anymore.
Why is there no Chocolate City?
I know, it was the best. Oh my god, like they played everything there. They played like reggae, hip hop, house, Latin stuff, like just like down tempo shit. Like it was so
cool.
Sounds
dope. Like Low End Theory. They had, I mean, not the same genres, but they had everything from rap and hip hop to experimental to house to, you know, it was cool. LA is where it's at.
It's crazy.
It really is.
I'm like, what is going on? You can find everything here every single day of the week.
But it's still to this day every single day of the week. But in doing that at the age that you did, I did the same thing Monday through Sunday, for crying out loud, school, whatever it is. You know, we were just going out. We would make it work because we're just getting into the scene. You had influences when you were a kid. When I was young and before I even knew anything about like house or disco, I shared a room with my uncle, and he would come home at 5, 6 in the morning, and obviously he was like a big brother to me, so I would talk to him about his day. He's like, yeah, I just got back from an after hours, and I was like, I had no idea what it was, no idea. I was like, whatever, 11, 12, 13, I just started skateboarding. I had nothing to do with house music, dance. Like, I didn't know shit about anything. And my uncle would come home from like after hours, like 2 to 7 a.m., 8 a.m. And I was like, what are these after hours? And then it just happened so organically to where like we're hosting our own now, and I was like, oh God, no, that's what. Okay.
Yeah.
I know what you got. I know what you got into.
Yeah.
So you get integrated. I mean, some people again, if you don't have that kind of integration, I said it right this time. The other one was, I don't remember what the other word was, but if you don't have that integration, you can go into a completely opposite direction. If you don't have like a general sense of what you like, you're gonna try everything again, but you're gonna end up finding it when you're older.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I did that shit when I was young.
You're like, yes.
Oh yeah, no. Now
am I
now
up right now? How am I up
I'm allowed to like kick back now for a little bit as far as attendance, because it's just a lot, and it's you want to support everybody, and I think that's the benefit of where social media comes in, because you can kind of still support in one way or another without necessarily having to like be another body in attendance, because I think it's more than just that. It's not like, I don't think the intention behind people wanting you to come is just so that there's more people at the party. But if you're supporting their brand, let's say I usually try to like go at least for an hour. If it's something fairly reasonable and I want to be there, I'll go for an hour, say hello, hang out, enjoy the music, and then take off. But social media makes it so in the event you can't, you can still do other things to support.
Yeah, like repost
everything.
Send
repost
stuff out to your friends. And stuff
send
like
out
that,
invites through your own page.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been really cool with that. A lot of people have helped us do that, and I think it naturally reciprocates because we do that. I tell them like, hey, thanks for doing that for us. Let me know when you need it. We'll do that for you. And that grows the community because more people that would have never heard of that collective now know about it because of you.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's kind of like one of the biggest things for us right now in Open House. We're trying to make the younger generation of dancers understand like that culture has to do with club. It's a club culture.
Right.
So it's like you got to go out to experience these euphoric moments, that we've all experienced, like for yourself. Yeah. And it's like, but they're so caught up because of social media. Mm-hmm. It's like everybody wants to be known as either the best dancer, I'm known for this, or this.
So it's a very
it's very competitive.
Very competitive.
And so it's very difficult for them to just like let go and be loose. Like,
but you guys are adults. They're kids where they're hormones and they're starting to get into the dance, and even if they're somewhat like a little bit good, that's gonna play to their ego.
Yeah,
of course. And the fact that's why they have like OGs like you guys to kind of like help direct them. Just don't bring any underage people in my party.
Right.
Keep them for the all age parties. Right. I don't even think, do that even happen anymore? All age parties?
I think they do from what I hear. Like,
does it have to be on like a couple? Space?
Yeah.
I would not want to go to an underground party that has the
I don't think they do that anymore. Like underground parties. So. Like I don't even think they've ever done like an underground with a bunch of little kids.
No,
the only time that I was able to go out to like a massive thing like that was like when I would go to Purple Shield back in the day when we were like it was like a ditching party, but they would like block off like blocks, and like have like carnival rides and like no, I went to school in Woodland Hills, but like
I was like,
we would drive, we would leave to go to this thing in like LA somewhere or backyard boogies and things like that. Like there was a lot of that like. Back in those days, like you didn't have a cell phone, you had a pager, like you had to remember your numbers. Like you saw some guy in this car and you're like, where are you going? And it's like, oh, well, I'm going to go here. And you follow them to wherever. And like you're
that sounds sketchy.
Yeah, but I mean, that was the way it was before. Right. Like we're like, yeah, let's go. And it was way, way more risk taking before for sure.
Yeah, you could afford to at that point. Now you can't.
Yeah.
I mean, to a certain extent, obviously, things we did when we were kids are dumb. But we could afford to get away with them a little bit more than we can now. I can't do half the shit I did when I was young now.
No way. There's no way.
That would get shut down so hard.
What do you think you're doing? Like, what? No, I didn't do that. But there's so much, like, I feel like now that I am older, my whole, like, one of the biggest focuses for me has been to, like, travel the world and experience these, like, huge clubs that people, like, talk about, or, like, these spaces,
Where are some that you got in mind? Like, as far as cities, like, if you were to pick 3.
Right now, so I want to go to Ibiza for sure. Like I want to.
That's been a staple.
Yeah, like I want to do that. Like I want to be able to say, like I went there for a summer and like experience that, but
not go there for specifically for go there, enjoy vacation with the music integrated.
Yeah. And then just Amsterdam is just amazing. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like every time that I go, it's just I find something new and it's super awesome. Like. That's where I actually got my real good taste of techno.
So you've been?
And
You've been, okay.
And it's just like because I didn't like techno music before, and then I went to Shelter,
You heard the right
and I was
kind.
like, what is this? This is amazing.
This is the good stuff.
Yes, exactly. And everybody was yeah, yeah. It was cool. Like, I remember I took the cab, and the cab driver was like, "You want some hashish?" And I was like, "What is that?" And he's like, "Here, you're gonna go to the club." And I was like, "No, I don't smoke, man. Like, I'm cool. Thank you very much. You know." And like, but yeah, they're super cool people. You know, he wasn't like creepy or anything. He was just like being really like, "Yo, you're here, having fun." And yeah, I think it'd be Ibiza, Amsterdam, and then the other one I would say, like, I'm kind of torn because I want to experience Japan, but then I also want to experience like Croatia. So because Croatia, they have so many festivals now. Like, I'm just like, I want to go. Like, I want to go there. I want to go to like.
If you want my vote, I would say Japan. I would love to see the house music scene.
Right?
Because I'm sure the underground there is probably heavy.
Like, I'm just like, yo,
you know where to go.
Like, there's so many things about Japan that like are just like a mystery that
it's
I'm like, I really want to see. Yeah.
It's pretty much how New York is, but in a different language and times 10 maybe.
Yeah.
As far as what I've seen, I've never been. I would love to go to Tokyo. I mean, pretty much all over Japan, but it just seems like that's a trip. If you're not like familiar with the space, I think you would want to go with someone that kind of speaks the language, so you don't get ripped.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of places. I've kind of taken a break from like wanting to go or travel for festivals because I've done Genius Loki in Mexico. I've done let's say camping. If you go to Coachella for 3 days, like I wanted pretty much whatever the funds are for that trip to go to Croatia for 15-20 days. Have your vacation, do stuff that has nothing to do with music for a little bit of time. And then if something like kind of coordinated to where maybe something's going on, you can go and attend. But people do the opposite. People book trips and vacations to go to more house music and dance music. And I feel like that separation or that balance, like you were talking about, of who you are as a person outside of music and the festival you and the like house music version of yourself need to kind of be in balance. Yeah. For your own.
Yeah, for my own sanity.
Mental.
And that's the thing too. Like I'm a big like naturalist. Like I love being outdoors, and I feel like Croatia, I definitely want to go there because I want to see like the beautiful waterfalls and just the landscape. Like I want to experience that. I feel like it's like a very magical place from what I've seen. Yeah. And I hear that the people are just super lovely, and it's like, who wouldn't want to go somewhere to like
see a new culture,
see this like everything. Like I want to experience different food. Like I'm such a foodie, and it's like, okay, yes, take me. You know? And I feel like there's that too. Like I feel like it opens a lot of people's minds when you do travel. You get to see so many different aspects of life, and like
that's a reality check.
Yeah.
If you never traveled before and you want someone to get humbled, send them somewhere. Yeah. Pretty much. Almost, it's not that everywhere is a third world country, but there's a lot of places that don't have it as good as we do. So you spend some time out there, you get checked hard.
Yeah, big time. I always tell my son, I'm like, I want you to travel because you're gonna understand what this world is about when you go somewhere and you see like people helping each other.
Yeah, puts things in perspective.
Like, what? Like I remember the first time I went to Vietnam, I tripped out with the fact that they have siesta. And during siesta time, in the middle of the day.
Yeah, they do that in France too.
Everybody does it, and you're just like, what? And the people on the street, people that have homes, bring the people on the street, into their homes to sleep. Yeah. Like on the living room floor or wherever, but no one's allowed to be out
and active.
Like you're gonna go and sleep. And
where is this?
In Vietnam.
Yeah.
Was that in Ho Chi Minh? No, it was in Da Nang, the city of Da Nang. So I went to Ho Chi Minh, Da Nang, and one other city, I can't remember. But it was like, I went to Forest, Harbor, and Main City. And it was the most incredible
you saw Vietnam, you saw everything from...
Yeah, it was amazing. Like, I went to the zoo. It was my favorite. It's like my favorite memory. I went to the zoo, and I'm a huge animal lover. And so their bars are like, maybe like, I want to say like 6 inches away from where you're standing.
Jeez. The bars for the animals.
Yeah. Okay, so you're standing and then there's maybe like a foot in between you, or less than a foot between you and a wild animal behind a cage. And I'm walking along and then they have this like crazy ostrich running around loose. And you're just like, whoa.
We're like trying to catch it and they're like, look out,
like, no, like literally, like they just let it roam around the park and it like runs around like, oh.
Are they dangerous creatures?
Yeah, I
think. They are, right?
Yeah, they're like part of the dinosaur family. Like, dude, hell no. So I walk over to this cage and I look in and it's a black panther.
Ooh, sick.
And I'm like, I love cats. Yeah. So I'm like, dude, this animal is amazing. No way.
Cats kill me.
God.
Cats kill me. Even dogs, like pet dandruff kind of causes me. It fucking sucks. I love dogs. Cats I don't care for, but that's because I've always been like,
yeah, you're like, no.
So I'm good. Black Panther maybe might be a little different.
Right?
I think I could probably.
Or like even just seeing like a tiger or a lion up close, like.
Yeah, I've seen the lion. I've never seen a tiger. I've never done like safari trekking to like be close enough to it.
San Diego Zoo, like. You can see the cheetah when they walk around dude, it's super cool. Pet. Yeah, it's super like wow, like you're just
that's wild.
It's wild animal.
It's a wild animal. That's wild.
And no, but it's cool. Like you're sitting there, and I'm just standing there, and this thing is like behind the thing, and it's walking around in circles. So I was like, this is my one and only chance in the world to touch a black panther.
You're out of your goddamn mind.
And I did.
Where his tail? You just wait for him to
I waited for him to pass by and I stuck my hand out and like petted that fool. Like
he could have turned around
and swatted me. Yeah.
No, he could have taken you with his jaw.
He could have totally ripped my arm off.
But you did it.
But I did it.
You touched the black panther.
I did. I touched the boat.
You touched the boat?
Yeah.
What was that?
Like in Finding Nemo.
Oh my god.
You have not seen that?
I have. It's just I didn't immediately make that reference to Finding Nemo, but I touched the boat.
Yeah.
When I touched it, got it. He gets kidnapped then.
Yeah.
Touch the boat, coming back.
And then that's where because he like, I'm gonna go touch the boat. Yeah.
Stupid Nemo. Made 2 movies because of you trying to find your ass.
Oh my god.
That's why kids stick to your parents.
Yeah.
Or stay close to your parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real though. Like,
I mean, there becomes a certain age where just naturally you become independent. Kind of thing, but
still gotta be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's been great having you.
Oh.
Thank you for coming on, pouring your heart, being honest. You're incredible. You have a great name here in LA. And
thank you.
Where can everybody find you? On social media? What do you got coming up next?
On Instagram, on Facebook and Twitter, you can find me. And then it's all Juliet Mendoza. I know the Instagram is Juliet__Mendoza. And then Twitter, I believe, is DJ Juliet Mendoza 2. 2. That's my favorite number.
2 is your favorite number?
Yes.
Mine's 9.
9?
Yeah.
That's a very interesting number.
I'm turning 29 on Wednesday.
That's what's up.
That's in 2 days.
That's right.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks.
That's what's up.
Getting old and feel young. Maybe just a dinner. Keep it kind of cash.
Yeah.
You know, cash, whatever. No biggie.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'm trying to live, yo.
Yeah. No, I think we're doing something this weekend, but again, it's just, we're spacing it out. But
yeah.
I love you. Thanks for giving us your time.
Guys. That's
and
for real.
We will see you in the streets.
Yes, you know this.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Thank you.